So before we begin the Hakdama of the Baal Mishnas Chassidim, one question which you may have is, how was the Baal Mishnas Chassidim Zoicha for all this Gedula v'Chavod to be Mechaber such a Sefer Kaddish, which includes all the Torah of the Ari HaKadosh, as passed down by Reb Chaim Vital and Rabbi Saul Saruk and the great Talmidim? How was he able to do such an amazing job? So, funny enough, the Ari HaKadosh did talk about the concept of Hishtadchus HaKivrei Tzadikim. The Ari HaKadosh explained that when you're mishtateach on the kever of a tzaddik, you could be zoicha that the tzaddik can be Messiah you. The tzaddik can come and help you. The tzaddik can come to be nischaber with your neshama. In fact, the Ari HaKadosh introduced the Yichud Hishtadchus. He taught the Yichud Hishtadchus that a person is able to connect their nefesh ruach neshama to the nefesh ruach neshama of tzaddik, and obviously through this you could be zoicha for many zchosim, many inyanim ruchniim, and that definitely has a very, very big impact on a person's havana and hasaga that they receive to their neshama. And Rabbi Immanuel Ricchi, he says that when he was in Tzfas, he went to be mishtatech on the kever of the Ari HaKadosh, and he feels that he had a gilui from the Ari HaKadosh, and this opened up his heart, and from that point on, he was able to learn Kisvei Ari with a clarity, and as he says in one of his Svarim, Mobile of Imai, that he believes that the Ari HaKadosh, Reb Chaim Vital, would be Messiah him to be able to write the Mishnas Chassidim. So, but it shouldn't be strange. Also, the Ben Ish Chai talks about being mishtatech on the kever of Yechezkel Hanavi. So we have great koiches atzumim that come from the hishtadchus and the kever of a tzaddik. Rabbi Immanuel Ricchi, Hashem Yechaper Damai, did not have a formal Kabbalah teacher per se. He wanted to learn under Rabbi Binyamin HaKohen, but he did not get that chance. He was able, through his shtatzvus of Kivrei Tzadikim, to come to this very, very high darga. So if you ever want to know Torah in a deeper way, if you go to the kever of that tzaddik and you mishtatech on the kever, so you can be zeicha for koiches atzumim. So let's get into the Hakdama. The Mekubalim, especially the Sons of the Divrei Chaim, felt that the Mishnas Chassidim is the last say on the order of Kisvei Arizal, because there is a lot of differences and changes and nuances, but the Baal Mishnas Chassidim, who learned under the Talmidim of the Arizal, he ordered it in such a way that it could be understood, it could be followed without too much difficulty, and that he's like, the one that was Misader, that everyone should be able to go by. Okay. So here we go. Let's go into the Hakdama. Hakdama Zamechaber, Mishnas Chassidim, Hakdama Rishona, Emes Meretz Titzmach. Let truth spring forth from the ground. V'tzedek, and in truth or in righteousness. Kol imrei pi amidaber aleichem b'loshen racha v'safa rafa. And in righteousness, the words of my mouth that is speaking to you in a soft tongue and in soft words. A little poetic there. Mariisi al-kacha. Why did I see to do this? Why did it come to me to decide to gather these sheaves, like a person that's gathering things in the field, to gather sheaves? All right. So to be malakit ba'amarim and imim, these pleasant sheaves, which these gatherings stand at the heights of the world. Why am I doing this? And this task is far from me, as east is always far from west. It is true and proper. The thing which occurred like this. After I passed over a sea of tzara, it's a play on words, like from the words of Tehillim, Yancha Hashem b'yom tzara, Hashem will answer you on the day of tzara, the Yam tzara. He says, in the Yam of tzara. But Tzeisi me Eretz HaKadosha, when I left Eretz HaKodesh, when I left Eretz Yisrael, Ka'asher siparti ba'agdama sifrei hain ashir. As I tell in the Hagdama of my Sefer Hain Ashir, there's a very interesting video about that. That's the one we posted in our group. That when Rabbi Immanuel was leaving Eretz Yisrael, he had with him a lot of Sfarim and manuscripts, all that he acquired in Eretz Yisrael. And when he went on the boat, there were thieves, pirates that robbed them and took everything that they had. And he was only able to save like one book that he was working on, which was called the Hain Ashir, right? And it was really a different name to it. He had a different name to it. I forgot the name exactly, but it was a name that had to do with Anius. And he was thinking whether he should name this book of Anius, but then it ended up being that because what had occurred, he decided he would change the name of the book to Taka, call it a name which is fitting for Torah, which is Ashirus more and not Anius. So he tells all that in the Hagdama of the Sefer Hain Ashir. Kiryas Ozi Haya Pai Ir Hamel Huleles Livarno. So my dwelling place became the great city of Livorno after that. The MS Ricchi, my palate is giving over the truth here. Every day in its day, I would sit at the dust of the sages, that make you wise, that sit with those that are great Talmidei Chachamim. They are techakmuni. They are those that make you wise. In this place, the era. I lifted up my eyes and I saw Vihinam Yeshvim al Kisei Din. They were sitting on the Kisei of Din. Ladas Mayasa Yisrael. What should be done in Bnei Yisrael? Vihine Arsam Eres Barzel. Bebarzel Yachad, and behold, their venom was a venom of iron, hitting against iron. Nigliv Nistar. This would mean that he was sitting amongst the Talmidei Chachamim, who would have sharp words in their learning and ask and answer Shaila V'Tirutz when they were learning. It was Barzel Bebarzel. That might be the meaning here. Revealed and concealed. And the Emes Nachin Adavar, and it is true, Ki B'Yosi Omed Burniki Shal Malachim Elu, while I was sitting in the Burniki Shal Malachim. Burniki Shal Malachim is a garden that a king plants when he has a son. And when the son gets older, they take the wood from the trees of that garden and they make a throne for the son. That's the Burniki Shal Malachim. So he's saying that while he was sitting around Talmidei Chachamim, that's the pshat here. Mistoifef B'tzilam Shal HaChachma, and I was sitting in their shade of Chachma, B'tzel HaKesef, in the shade of desire, Asher Kisafti Minurai Va'ad Hayom Hazeh, that I had desired from when I was a young boy until now, B'Chachma Hazeh Sarama, with this great Chachma, L'itayim Tuv Tam V'das Hayetzi Mipiyam, wanting to taste the good wisdom, Hayetzi Mipiyam B'Roish, the words which come out of their mouths by their head, Zovas Chol Devash, flowing with milk and honey, Masuk Me'oz Ha'ari Zechreina L'chai Ha'il Haba, the sweetness and the strength of the Arizal. So I believe here this is a play on words from the Tanakh, from Nach, from the Pasuk in Sheftim, where it deals with Shimshon Ma Masuk Midvash Ma Oz Me'ari. What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? But he explains it in his own way. He uses it in his words here. Azni shamu v'loizar. My ears heard it, and no one else. Or someone else didn't hear it. I heard it, and not somebody else. Hadavar asher yetzi mipi hamelech ha'echad. I heard it come out of one of the kings. Mi yitain, who would give V'tiyeh chochmas ha'ari zechrena levracha zechrena l'chai ha'olam haba misuderes b'seder elyon ha'roy lehegyoin. Who would give that someone should make the chachma of the Arizal in a way which is mesuder, and in a very, very great seder, which is fitting and comprehensive. V'yagideha, and tell it v'archali k'shulchan aruch, and I'll be able to tell it to me like a shulchan aruch. V'emes hadavar asher shamati be'arsai, and it is true, this thing that I heard. Ba'arsai asta bi rosham. Maybe in its sting, it made an imprint in me. Okay, masachek be'enai, and as if playing in my eyes. Almarti, I said, Al Yomar Hamelech Kain Pamachares. The king should not say this another time. Kidvar Hamelech Mimalki Rabbanan Ein La'ashiv. Because the words of the king from the kings of rabbis, you do not want to take back. So it seems to be that he was sitting amongst the Talmidei Chachamim, and one of them had said to him, it would be a great idea to take all the ksavim of Reb Chaim Vital that we have and to put it in an orderly fashion. The ksavim of Reb Chaim Vital is scattered. Divrei Torah aniyim b'makom echad, ashirim b'makom echad. Sometimes the words of Torah are, rich in one place, thin in another, but it would be great to take that all and to put it into a compilation which is coherent and orderly. So that's what he was asked. And the im tishna, and if you say it again, yad eshlach bahen, I will put my hand to it, mekach tov chachma zu, to this good purchase of chachma, lekayim dvarei, to do what you say, asher diber, that you spoke, olaharich erech lechem starim anistarim mimeni, and to order this divine knowledge, this divine food, which is hidden from everybody. Ve'enli yad v'shem bahem l'malis ritzainam. I do not have the ability to do what you're asking. Because even the svarim that I had for this chachma, this wondrous chachma, it became hidden from me, and I don't have it in my house or in any of my chambers. So apparently, it seems like that Rabbi Immanuel is saying that he was sitting amongst Chachamim, and apparently it was mentioned by one of the greats that they would love it if someone would be able to put Chachmas Kabbalah in a set order. And Rabbi Immanuel heard the request, and he said, if you say it again, I'm going to go for it. And at the moment, though, I can't do what I would like because I don't have the tools. I don't have any more of my manuscripts because I basically lost them, I believe what he's saying. I lost them on my way back from Eretz Yisrael. And I believe the reason why he left Eretz Yisrael was because they weren't doing too good. I believe one of his daughters died. And they weren't doing so well financially. So, and what made it worse is that when they went on the boat, that didn't help either. So the language is very cryptic, right? But, like the derech of Talmidei Chachamim back in those days, to write and weave their words in metaphor, and words that are more poetic. That seems to be the case. He sat down to learn with Chachamim, and that's what occurred. And he's saying to them that I don't have what I need. And I'm going to tell you the truth of the words of the and I will tell you in truth the words of this Chacham, that and what he responded to me. What he responded to me. All the svarim that are found with me from this Chachma, I'm giving them to you. Do with them as you want. And may Hashem be in your aid, and Hashem biyadcha yitzlach, and the desire of Hashem in your hand should make you successful. Aseh v'hatzlach, do and be successful. And ve'emes ha'isa b'fiv, and truth was in his mouth. And falsehood was not found in his lips. Ki hekim dvar asher diber. He did what he was said he would do. Vayiten li as asher nimtza itoi, and he gave me what he found with him. Mikisvei ha'ari v'talmidav vayikir oisi. And it was that when I saw this, ki koi diber elai ish v'koi chinani, that this is what he said and this is what he bestowed on me. Nichnasu hadvarim bi ke'eres shel hachana hamuchukanas. The words entered me like a venom of preparation, of readiness, a venom of readiness to receive the material to form this work, to receive the material to form this work. L'kabel chomer yitziras hasefer hazeh, v'loi shelavti v'loi shakatti, and I didn't rest, I didn't relax, v'loi nachti ad boi l'mchois chavti boi, until I came to the place where I wanted to come to. I didn't rest. Ve'emes devar Hashem, and truth is the words of Hashem. Asher diber al yedei razal, that was spoken through the words of the Chachamim. Habalatar Messiah Nosai, those that want to come close to Hashem and become taller, Hashem helps you out. Because don't I see in this compilation, if Hashem did not bring out of his storehouse his goodness and his influence to be to me a help, I would have never been able to make this safer by myself. Because in my house, I don't have food, I don't have clothing. As is mashma, clothes and food literally, but also ukamidrashai, but also in the midrashic sense that the Zohar talks about clothes and food. That means like food, lechem is teresh b'ksav, and clothing is teresh b'al peh. So he's saying that who am I to do this great thing, right? I don't have lechem, I don't have simla. I mean, like, kemashma, kipshutai, and also kemidrashai. And so, how can I do this great thing? And even and especially with this great chachma. So he says, when I take a look at this book that was made, to me, he says it's miraculous. It's a miracle, right? So the emes chafatzti v'tuchos, and truth I desire in the insides, b'sasum chachmazu, in the secrets of this chachma, because of the value of its chashivus, the hakara sidiyasa, and recognizing its knowledge, v'tayelas limudeha, and the greatness of its learning, kasher kidmuni rabbanon keshishai, as has been mentioned before me by the old rabbis, b'sifrei ha'makedoshim, in their holy books, asher aleim tomachti yisedoisai, that on them I rely, that on them my pillars rely. And I did not put an introduction to this sefer with hakdamis, haruuyos l'chol sefer Kabbalah, which are fitting for sefer Kabbalah, l'sachar pi dovrei sheker, to quiet the mouths of those who speak falsely, that talk about Kabbalah in a bad sense. In other words, I didn't waste time to deal with those people that are non-believers or that have to be proven everything, starting from science and whatever, I don't know what. Asher al namar aleim loikein harishayim. It says on them unto Tehillim, not so for the Rishayim, David HaMelech says. They are like the chaff that the wind blows away. Al ki atakaihu the Rabbanan Svurai Hanal Kosamichna, because on the shield of the Chachamim, on the shield of the Rabbanim and those great Talmidei Chachamim we mentioned above, I rely on them. I rely on the great Chachamim that have explained this Chachma. Kiheim ne'amanim olai k'mea edim. They are trustworthy on me like mea edim. I don't need to go back and figure out everything from scratch. I'm going to start where the Arizal starts to talk, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to listen, because others have already did that work, and it's not on me to do that work. I am starting from where they left off, and on them I rely. And if Bnei Yisrael didn't listen to the people before me and read all their works, How will they listen to me? I'm a young man, and they're old. And if they weren't being listened to, they're not going to listen to me. And in the end of the day, Hakol Nishma, Ki Yesharim Darchei Hashem. We all know that the ways of Hashem are correct. Tzadikim Yechubam, let tzadikim walk in them and follow them with Amunah. And those who want to sin will sin in them. But I saved my soul and I have taken this path. He's taken this path to rely by Amunah on the Chachamim that explain the difficulties of getting there, but rather it's to start where the Arizal talks with Emunah and talks with his Nevuos and Ruach HaKodesh to explain Kisvei Kabbalah, Kisvei Arizal. And by the way, you notice he starts every paragraph with the word emes. The emes atein lachem, and truth I will give to you. But makam hazeh, in this place, klal gadol, a great klal, asherisi b'tzvas tivne v'tikonein b'mhera b'yameinu, may it be built speedily in our days. B'sefer ksivas yad, I saw this in a sefer of handwriting. Shabam Yerushalayim, shehu malev agadosh. It's a sefer that came from Yerushalayim that was filled with a lot of interesting things. Keteres Bad Kodesh Minyane Achachma Azos. It was a compilation, a holy compilation with the inyanim of this Chachma. Shekol ish asher tashka nafshe likanis ba'emek rem chachmazu, that anyone who has a desire to go into this high, deep wisdom, shebetchila yimdod atzmo. A good piece of advice is to measure yourself or analyze yourself, self-reflect, yimdod atzmo b'mida haru'uyaloi, and bring yourself to the measurement that is fitting for you. Vim yodeya erkaya shafal, and if you know that you're on a low level, asher biyade nachrim hispik, and that you're at the level that you're really with like chachmas chitzonius, she'ein lahem yediyah lamayla misichlam, that they have no knowledge higher than their intellect. By the goyim, it's all about the intellect. And this is the problem, by the way, Nate. This is something that's a core issue. And we always explain, when you're learning Kisvei Ari, the Arizal, Reb Chaim Vital, it doesn't get into all, he starts Boilamos. He starts Boilamos El Yainim. In fact, he starts up there and he makes his way down slowly here. And the here is not so greatly defined, but the up there is defined amazingly, right? And whereas by Goyim, it's here, and then the up there is this terse part. They have a saying in Chassidus. By some people, it's Lamaila Yesh or Lamata Ayin. Up there is the real substance, and down here is the fake substance. Whereas you have by some people, you have like Lamata Yesh or Lamaila Ayin. Up there is nothingness. Here is something, right? So by the Ari, you see clearly that Lamaila Yesh or Lamata Ayin. Up there's the real Yesh. Here is, a little bit of that. So some people have to measure and see if they're not able to get beyond Chachmas Chitzonis, right? Which deals with nothing beyond their own intellect, right? If you're not ready to learn stuff beyond your own intellect, you're not ready to learn Kabbalah, right? They will try to rebuke anything that is not understood in their intellect as a rational working thing that they're used to, right? In the material world. The clouds, like the clouds that come after the rain, right? Meaning the clouds that come because of the rain. So some people, because they have Geshem, they have Ovim, they have clouds. Because they have Geshem, they have Ovim, they have clouds. And and that causes a divide between them and spirituality. And if that's the case, says the Mishnas Chassidim, if you're this type of person, stay far away, like the shot of a bow, an arrow, and in order that you don't get burned by their fiery coals, the fiery coals of the Chachamim. Okay, that means it's just not for that person at the moment. And what should that person do? You should cry about your material situation, that it is stuck in materiality, right? And which is called Roya Mizgoy, his negative composition of what he's currently made up of. But if when you are learning and you know that if you see something that's weird in this chachma, you're going to say it's your fault, your own fault, right? But amroi, and you will say, ki hadavar reik hu mimenu, that this thing that seems empty is from me, right? And you will receive it with emes and amuna v'lo yachish b'liboy amitusa as chayev l'lamda. That person is chayev to learn this chachma. So really, this is a powerful lesson, a powerful measuring tool of whether a person's ready for chachmas Kabbalah or not. Ki kein kosav Rav Chaim Vital ba'adama says ba'adama Eitz Chaim. Rav Chaim Vital wrote that in Akdama of Eitz Chaim. This is Rabbi Chaim Vital writes in Eitz Chaim these words. He says, the whole punishment of people learning this chachma, shekosav Rashbi, that the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai writes, that's only for previous generations. All the punishments that are talked about with regards to chachmas HaKabbalah and the foreboding sense behind learning it or forbidding to learn it, that was all those doros of the Rashbi, a little maybe after the Rashbi a little bit, but but in these days, these doros, mitzvah v'simcha gedolah hilaf ne'akadosh baruch hu sh'tizgala zeh chachma sheb'schus hayav v'mashiach hatem l'shonim. It's a mitzvah and it's a simcha gedolah before Hashem to reveal this chachma that in its zchus Mashiach will come. And that's what he says, that's what he says over there. Do not worry if you make a mistake in this chachma. Your schar is with you in exchange for your work. Because you are serving Hashem with the specifications that is needed for all who learn this chachma, as is mentioned in the Zohar. All right. And Hashem is true forever. For Shema Avtachasai, and he keeps his promise. Asher Avtiach Haydi David Avdoi, that he promised to David his servant. Rabbi Chasidav Yishmar Loela, Shalo Yilkedu Berashas HaMesis, for Shema Minam Azikin, that he will watch the feet of his pious ones, that they shouldn't get stuck in the trap, in the net of those that like to pull us astray, or damaged from Mazikin, right? Oboy Botachti, Asher Berev Chazdov, and I trust in his great kindness that he will do this with me. Even though that my averos are way over my head, like a big burden, and in truth, I'm not even a chassid. All right? Because it's written, this is why Hashem should consider me a chassid. This is why Hashem should consider me a chassid. He says, he says, this is the Torah of Oila. Anyone that learns the Torah of Oila, it's as if they offered a korban Oila. That this sefer, which is also called, as I will explain later on, Mishnas Chassidim, since I am working with the sefer called Mishnas Chassidim, may Hashem make it so that I am also a chassid. Yeah. Amazing. And Hashem should protect me from mazikim of the guf and the nefesh. Because Hashem is the one that checks the heart and the insides. And he knows. I didn't make this book for my honor. I didn't make the book for the cover of my father's house. I did it to make the wisdom easier, right? That it shouldn't be forgotten from me or from anyone that is like me. And it should be found in my hands all the time. And it should be, this chachma should be found in my hand at all times. To do Hashem's will. That we should unite the HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Shechina with Ahava and Yira.